Brandin Podziemski went from not being known at all to an important piece for the Golden State Warriors.
And Cat with a big rebound. Podziemski steal. 2 seconds. He throws up a 3.
Thanks to his unique outlook on the game and his incredible work ethic. Brandin was born to John Podziemski and his mother Barbara West on February 25, 2003. He grew up in Greenfield, Wisconsin, along with his younger sister Gabriella. Growing up, his father dreamed that Brandin would become a professional baseball player. So much of his childhood was spent playing baseball in Wisconsin. In fact, he didn't even start playing organized basketball until he was in the 8th grade. This in itself is pretty unique. Typically, NBA players are either born in a family which already have at least college-level pros, or they are playing basketball from the moment they can walk. But this wasn't the case for Brandin. His parents weren't athletes. They had no interest in basketball, and he didn't start playing it until he was older. All in all, it seemed unlikely that Brandin had it in him to become a pro because he started too late. Not to mention, he didn't have any physical gifts to help him along the way. At least not yet. However, Brandin has credited his parents for instilling in him this workman-type attitude, which has allowed him to put in extra effort and go the extra mile to achieve what he wants. And that's exactly what he did once his basketball obsession began to blossom. The thing that attracted Brandin to basketball was the pace of the game. He had spent all these years playing baseball, but found it a little boring because of the slow nature of the game. On the other hand, he would watch basketball on TV, and the fast pace made the game seem a lot more fun. So, in 8th grade, Brandin committed to playing basketball. Brandin went to St. John's Northwestern Academy as a sophomore. He credited the institution with helping him develop life skills and growth in his maturity. As a freshman, Brandin didn't play for his varsity team. So, when he averaged 22.5 points and 9.3 rebounds in his sophomore year, it took everyone by surprise. But that just goes to show you the work he had been quietly putting in, improving his game and waiting for his opportunity to shine. He was named to the first-team All-State for his efforts as well. By his senior year, Brandin had cemented himself as one of the best players in his class, averaging 35.1 points, 10.0 rebounds, 5.6 assists, and 4 steals, while being named Wisconsin Mr. Basketball. During this time, Brandin also hit a growth spurt. When he first arrived at St. John's Northwestern, he was approximately 6'3" and 160 pounds. As a junior, he reached about 6'4" and 185 pounds. In his senior year, Brandin reached 6'6" with shoes on and 198 pounds. The growth spurt combined with his elite play led to a ton of colleges calling the Podziemski household. However, Brandin would take a slight detour on his way to the NBA. Brandin garnered interest from universities such as Kansas, Kentucky, Marquette, Nebraska, Wake Forest, and Illinois. But being recruited by players like Coleman Hawkins and Andre Curbelo, Brandin decided to play for Coach Brad Underwood at Illinois. He played in 16 games as a freshman, all off the bench, and averaged 1.4 points per game. That's definitely not the dream season he had been hoping for. However, he did learn a ton about what it's like to be a true professional. During his time in Illinois, he was surrounded by many fifth-year seniors. They helped him understand how to practice, to do the little things to get more playing time, and how to lock in when you're expected to play limited minutes and a specific role on the court. After Illinois' season ended, Brandin would enter the transfer portal and end up in Santa Clara. Brandin has said that Santa Clara was the first school that called him just minutes after he had entered his name into the transfer portal. Despite not really knowing anything about the school, he connected with the head coach, Coach Sendek, and felt similar vibes to his old high school team. Coach Sendek even told him that he was the most underrated transfer player. Santa Clara was looking for their next big star after their previous star, Jalen Williams, had left the team after declaring for the NBA. With Santa Clara, Brandin would have an opportunity to show off his game. He entered his first season with the Broncos as the team's starting shooting guard. Brandin scored 30 points with 9 rebounds and 5 steals in Santa Clara's season opener. He scored 34 points and grabbed 11 rebounds in the following game. At the close of the 2022-23 regular season, he was named WCC Co-Player of the Year, after which he declared for the NBA. When it comes to his game, Brandin describes it as feisty and rugged. He considers himself a hustle player who will do whatever it takes to get his team a win. In fact, when he first started playing, he was considered a big man, and then over time, he transitioned into a guard position. So, he has really played every position on the court over the years. But unlike most young players who just want to chuck up threes and be known as the guy who can score 20 a night, Brandin's favorite part of playing basketball is rather unique. He enjoys rebounding and playing intense defense. Some of the guys he has looked up to in the past are Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart. All in all, his mentality and work ethic are perfect for teams who are trying to compete for a title right now. This is why many younger, rebuilding teams passed up on Brandin during draft night, and he ended up being picked 19th overall by the Golden State Warriors. The hustle and desire to play defense was exactly what the Warriors needed. They already had generational shooters like Steph Curry and point guard Chris Paul to take care of the playmaking and scoring. When the team fell on hard times due to injuries and suspensions, it was Brandin who stepped his game up and carved for himself starter minutes on the squad. Among rookies, Brandin leads in charges drawn, has the second best plus and minus, and third best three-point percentage, while only being 12th in minutes. So when he does get his time on the court, he provides an immediate impact, whether it be hitting clutch threes or playing elite defense or doing all the little things that a team like the Warriors needs. And he's doing this while being on an extremely team-friendly deal, which won't last too long if Brandin continues to prove his worth. Brandin is signed to a 4-year, $16.2 million deal with the Warriors. The good news is that every penny of that deal is guaranteed. The bad news is that Brandin is playing way above his pay grade. But still, he is earning $4 million a year to play the game he loves, so we can't feel too bad for him. Besides, once the deal is up, he will be eligible for an $8.6 million deal, but in reality, if he continues to perform the way he has been, he'll be earning 3 times that. There are also other benefits of playing for an organization like the Warriors. Not only are you getting mentored by all-time great players like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Chris Paul, but you're also amassing a group of extremely loyal followers. On Twitter, Brandin has nearly 30,000 followers, while on Instagram, he has almost 110,000 followers. His Instagram feed is full of highlights from his season with the Warriors, including a few pictures with icons like Steph Curry. But it's on Twitter where you really see Brandin's humble personality shine through. He recently tweeted the following, quote, 2 years ago, at this time, I had 17 DNP and only played garbage time. 1 year ago, at this time, I wasn't on any draft boards. 5 months ago, all I heard was that I was bust. Started the year out of the rotation, and now I'm starting for the best franchise in the NBA. With the hashtag, if I can do it, you can too. This just goes to show you that Brandin is the type of player you want young kids looking up to. Thanks to his humble nature and his work ethic, he has been able to grind away, slowly chipping at a larger and larger net worth. The $16 million deal Brandin is on looks amazing on paper, but a lot of that money will end up going to taxes. That's just how it goes, especially in California. Plus, Brandin still hasn't hit the mainstream as he should, so he lacks the sponsorship and endorsements to cushion that tax blow. One thing Brandin has going for him is that he's proving his worth in the NBA. If you can carve out a role and excel at it, you will likely see a long and prosperous career in the NBA. He has quickly become one of the best young players in the game, and his following has increased thanks to that. So, he's sure to turn that following into cheddar and add to his net worth. But for now, we'd estimate that his net worth is somewhere around the $4 million mark, as he is only in the first year of his deal.